Welcome to the podcast, Puff with Fluff. Of course, I'm your host, Fluff, or Buff the Fluff, or the Fluff, or whichever one floats your boat. I go by any and all those. So, welcome again. Actually, this is the first live podcast. So, let's see how this ends up going. Of course, I'm still gonna end up being smoking. Because obviously it's one of the main things of this podcast. So of course you got to. And actually today I got a raw garden. I think this is called berry butter. And I had this other cold fire one, but I've been smoking it a lot for the past couple of weeks. So I figured I'll go with something more new. It's not as good as the cold fire, but taste wise, it's not really all that good. But it still hits. So before we fully get thoroughly engaged through this, it's the berry butter one. But yeah, before we fully get into this, just like some updates, of course. We're live. I'm gonna end up probably like doing something with if I ever have like guests, it would be through like Discord or anything like that. So you'll see more like that instead of just my beautiful face. But we got that. Anything that's new for me? I don't really think so. Or nothing to basically announce yet. I just wanted to say that we're doing this live. So for any audio listeners or anything like that, if you hear me like answering like a question, it'll end up being for like chat, or like if you hear me backtracking on something, it's probably because like someone in chat ended up asking like a question or anything like that. Just so y'all know that I'm just not saying like some wild or off the wall stuff that doesn't seem like it pertains to what's happening. So, of course, let's go ahead and get started. I have a couple of topics. I'm going to have them actually pulled up kind of in front of me so I can remember. So, first thing I do want to talk about is definitely went to my first baseball game today. Not really like my first, but like my first one being like an adult. And honestly, dude, what's on the TV is still kind of like the same, but you don't get to see what happens like during like the commercials or anything like that. And it's a little bit more fun, but honestly, baseball is still kind of boring to watch. I guess like if you play it, it's like different, but I would just mainly end up going there just for like the drinks. And those little Dodger dogs, mine look sad and pathetic. Like, you ever been in a shower for probably like, you've been in a shower for like a long time and you look at your fingers and it was all wrinkly and it didn't look right. It looked like he was like aging. That's what the bun of that hot dog looked like. Granted, it was still a decent hot dog, but it was like, how can I put it? Wrinkly, old, like soggy. It looked like it retired. Like it's like 65 and it just retired. So wasn't really all that. I don't know. I must have got the wrong one, but those are definitely not all that good. I can make better hot dogs at home. But I guess for the experience wise, it was pretty okay. We had some like weird couple that was in front of us, which I don't get why. They were like a weird toxic couple. And I just need an understanding of why the fuck would somebody put a tattoo of electric on the back of their neck. Like I don't get the meaning of it. Like why? But I guess people do whatever they want with their bodies. But I really wanted to know an explanation, but I was not about to ask them. It was like two white people, and you see me, it would end up being a problem, especially at a baseball game. But that was kind of like mainly it of what I've been doing, or what that I could say that I've been doing. So I don't know. Baseball is not really. It's not really it. I want to go to like a football game. I really want to tailgate, knowing that like I'm at the age of legal drinking or been there for the past 5 years. I want to do that, or I want to go to like probably like a basketball game. Definitely going to end up going to the World Cup, which tickets come out 2 years. Let's see if I'm not broke by then. Hey, I wasn't really fucking up the hot. I think it was more that I was hungry, and that I wasn't actually like fucking up the hot dog. I wouldn't go that far. Okay. But I wanna also tell y'all about one of like the weirdest dreams that I've ever had. Or like, you ever had like one of those weird dreams that just like stick with you forever? I had one of those. They were crazy. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all about this. I was having a dream. It started off with like it was like me and like I think it was around like 4 or 5 other people. It was like a group of us, and we were just like in this like plain field where they had like it was like a forest that was kind of like around us, or like semi around us, I guess. And next thing you know, we had like zombies that was running towards us, and they were like fast zombies. But the problem was is that they had no type of like arms, so they were all armless zombies just running towards us. And like one of the people, because I didn't know what type of zombies they were, and apparently they were like gay zombies. So it was gay half nugget zombies that was running towards us. So we ended up fighting them off because they have no arms. So you gotta, for I don't know how to put it, like you gotta be dumb to end up getting bit by one. So we easily kind of like fought those off. But it came to find out that it was all like a distraction, and that they actually kidnapped my my little brother. So I didn't know who kidnapped him or anything like that. I just remember that back behind us there was like a field, like a playground field or whatever, and he was over there. So I went back over there after we fought and killed like the zombies. I'm not going to go into detail how we killed the zombies because honestly it was pretty weird. But we went back over to the playground, and then at the playground there was like a group of people there, and I asked them, I was like, yo, have you seen like my little brother? And next thing you know, one of the, like, it was like some like little like short girl. I'm not sure if it was like if she was a kid or like an actual like adult, but it's like the kid was at the size to look like an adult. So I'm not sure if it was like an adult or not. But anyway, she came up talking about she was like talking some type of trash or whatever. And then next thing you know, she threatened to end up killing me. So we had like a little like duel, like a 1-on-1. And I ended up rocking her shit. Honestly, I fucked her ass up. I think like I broke her jaw, pulled out her tongue. It got pretty graphic. And then after I whooped her ass, she ended up pointing like that way. like to like some like certain area, and I was like, all right, cool. So me and like two of the other guys that was with me ended up going towards that area, and then some like little midget looking things, like the thing from the Lorax, the guy that sold the water bottle. Hold on, let me do a little quick. I'm gonna change it to, let's see here. Let me find it right quick. Let me change this little thing right here. So there was like two of them, and they were just like hopping, skipping around and everything. And they were like, ha ha ha, we know where your brother is. You'll never be able to find him. And then they just ran off. So we ran after him, and we finally like caught them when they were like doing their little crazy crackhead stuff activities. So then pin one down and try to get him to talk or whatever. And then I don't know, they were trying to test me. They were trying to test, like, I guess they were trying to test my gangster. Like, I just didn't rock some little kid over there. And then after that, I ended up like putting him down. I broke his arm off. Turns out this little dude right here was actually like he was like a robot. So then it did like some like weird, like kind of like Terminator shit or whatever, saying you would not, like in a robotic voice, like you would never be able to find him. And then his little twin midget thing saw it and started running for his life inside of the woods. And then after that, it was a wrap. I ended up waking up. Dude, I was so confused. And like, if y'all ever thought that like dreams have meanings, I need somebody to end up explaining that meaning, or what the fuck that ends up like. What did that mean at all? Because dude, it was a crazy ass dream, and I don't know. Oh, these are the little topics that I'm probably gonna talk about if y'all can see those. But I'm gonna go back to the full face. Let me hold on. But nah, dude, that is crazy. Like, I don't know if there was supposed to be some deep underlying meaning or anything towards that. That was crazy. And I don't believe whenever anybody says that, yeah, dreams have meanings and shit like that. Like, nah. There is no way in hell that you can explain to me a meaning of gay zombies and then my little brother getting kidnapped and the little dwarf looking evil thing that sold air to people in a bottle was good. Like, that I don't know. So that's beyond me. Somebody else can figure that out, or like any, like, what's those people called? The psychology people, major things, therapists, whatever. They can figure that out. They can end up taking my little dream and deciphering that shit. It was a weird ass dream. I think that's gonna that dream will end up sticking with me probably for the rest of my life. I don't know. In more recent news, I definitely want to end up talking about, I don't have this on like my little list, but I definitely want to end up talking about this whole billionaire dying submarine, they can't find submarine bullshit. Who in their right mind would end up being like, let's go in this submarine that is controlled by a gaming controller. And it looks like the gaming controller was like an old PlayStation controller, and they turned the buttons into like Xbox buttons. And then they added some long ass nipples to it, because let's be honest, those are just basically long ass nipples. And who looks at that and is like, this looks like a good idea to go into. Like, this looks so cool. I can't stand up. I gotta sit here this whole time. Like, bro, that shit is crazy. There was so many different problems apparently with it too, and what like the CEO was complaining about like safety being like people were saying like it was too they were too strict on like safety or anything like that. Like, bro, you're going to a place that you're not supposed to be at. Like there's no air, no food, no light. Like you're going to the deep depths of the ocean to look at the Titanic. Like, bro, Google Images is a thing because that's literally all that it is. I mean, imagine you going all the way down there and then you just think to yourself like, yo, I could have actually just been way better off looking at this at a picture or a video and not actually being here doing literally the exact same thing. Can't even touch it or nothing. You're just looking at it. And I think also another dumb thing was that they had it sealed from the outside. Like, what? Why? Why would you make that? So there's a lot of things that didn't end up adding up right for me, and I honestly just think that the billionaires of that just either did it to like fake their own deaths, or they were like kind of like, you know, pressured more into doing it to kill them off for something probably major that's happening later or whatever. It was either a hit or they faked their death because nobody in their right mind knew that, or like was like, you know, hey, this is actually a pretty cool looking little submarine, huh? Like it looked like, I don't know how can you say it, like the little sheath of like a knife or like a dagger or some shit like that. That's what it looked like. They only had one window. It's so stupid. And anybody that's like, you know, oh, like it's their lives or something like that, like you also have to remember at the same time is they paid to be in something that they knew was probably unsafe. Like just to go see the Titanic. Not even with their eyes, because they're probably still looking through like a screen or something like that to end up looking out there. Like, it's not making sense. And then there's even more things that's not adding up to me, like the whole banging noise. Like, yo, they're that deep, and you're saying you can hear banging noise? Okay, there, buddy. I don't think that was that. Because you gotta think about it. Like, if you make a banging noise, like right where you're at, nobody 500 feet away is even going to be able to hear that shit. So I don't know what the fuck they actually heard. I think that's cap, or that banging shit is probably from them actually transporting themselves into a whole nother vessel so they can just get away and fake their deaths. Because that's the only thing that I see that's actually logical that probably happened. I'm not sure if anybody else thought this way. I haven't really seen much people think about this or like say this, but it's not really adding up. And it's not like, you know, I don't think really sound travels like that, especially through the water. So it's a whole bunch of bullshit. I think they probably just fake their deaths. That's it. And then imagine like being cramped in there and somebody fart. Oh my god. No. Hell no. Oh yeah, that too, saying that they died like soon after they went down, because I think the whole thing happened like an hour and a half after like they went into like the ocean, like that quick. And the guy definitely said before, like, yeah, you know, I've been down there a couple of times myself. Like, all right, okay, cap. I'm gonna call cap on that. That was a lie. So that's whatever. That's my whole spill about it. It's just, it's either those billionaires are stupid and we need to question how they actually became billionaires in the first place, or they literally fake their deaths and something else is probably about to happen. Or I think I saw some video of it was like some dude talking about how like the wheat sales are going up now because of I think they said what BlackRock and JP Morgan are trying to open up a bank in Ukraine, and the wheat sales have gained and stuff like that. So now yeah, it was like they trying to open up banks to help Ukraine and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is real questionable. Like, okay. Then stock prices of wheat went up too. So I'm like, I don't know about the whole like spiel of it or anything like that, but that's like the main gist of what happened during the time of this whole submarine thing and people being scared for billionaires. Like, they already like they're good people. Like, let's be honest, a lot of billionaires are not really all that good people. They got there somehow, and it's not by caring or giving any type of fucks to anybody. So there's one little like story that I want to tell y'all about too. And this, we're gonna call this the little the little Chi story. So how where would I end up starting at? All right. So we're just gonna start here. Like, so I was at my girlfriend's house with her and her family, and we was like, you know, I think we was just like there like on like a Sunday, and we was watching the football game and eating because we have like dinner and stuff like that. So her cousin was also there, and we're gonna just name him Chi-Chi's. So Chi-Chi's was there with us, and we all had like food and everything, and he's like a huge like Cowboys fan. And what ended up happening was is that the Cowboys lost. You know, as a Cowboys fan, you have to be big baby mad because I don't know, for some reason y'all are Cowboy fans are almost just like Philly fans, or as almost as worse as Philly fans. But he was ended up being there, and then he was like looking all down and everything like that. He like came into like the kitchen where most of everybody else was at, or like the kitchen area, and he ended up coming in looking all sad. And then my girlfriend's little sister was like, oh, like, you know, are you gonna like cry or anything like that? And he says, you know, of course, trying to be like, you know, a big man or a big guy or whatever the fuck, saying like, you know, I don't cry, you know, trying to be all hard or whatever the fuck, I guess. Like, yeah, no, I don't cry or anything like that. So then I made the point of saying the reference from you know, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. I was like, oh yeah, you know, he's like the guy, he's like the cop from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, because, you know, he had a tear running down his face and he like sucked it back up because, you know, he don't cry. And apparently I offended him somehow, some way like that. I thought it was a pretty, you know, a pretty good reference. Pretty nice little jokey joke. And I guess he got mad, and then he went back over to like the living room, and apparently he said that, like, you know, I hate whenever people ruin my food. Granted, all right, this guy is probably around like 6'2", built like a lazy boy, around probably like 330, 340, and on his second plate, finishing his second plate, talking about, I hate whenever people ruin my food. And apparently I ruined his food. It's a good thing I probably did. He probably would have got a third plate. He was over there fucking that shit up. But he ended up like leaving after shortly kind of afterwards. I guess he wasn't really feeling the vibes no more. You know, Cowboys lost. He doesn't cry. And somebody basically destroyed his whole meal, second meal. So he ended up leaving. He didn't really say goodbye to me or anything like that. He usually does. So I guess I really I pissed him off. I haven't seen him since. It's probably been about like a couple months or something like that. I don't know. Back in the time when football was playing. So I guess like January to June. See him one day. Probably see him next year. Closer around Christmas. Either Christmas or could possibly see him on 4th of July. I think he's waiting for like a big food event. So, hey, if he ends up seeing this one day, he's gonna get Big Baby bad too. Again, it's gonna be pretty funny to talk about. But yeah, man. I don't know why I wanted to tell y'all that story, but I felt like I just had to tell y'all. Or I guess mainly like have y'all ever experienced a situation where somebody just completely like destroyed your appetite? Or have you ever made somebody's appetite just like go away completely? So I guess that's the point of that. I don't know. I just really wanted to tell y'all that story. I just think it's wild that it wasn't even like an insult or anything. It was just more of like a reference, like a in life, I guess, synonym. But they ain't really got to do anything with me, so sounds like a personal problem. Damn. Oh, I think oh, I'm dying. Damn, that's a sneak attack. Shit. That's crazy. Sorry about that, like coughing. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. And my chat over here asking me if I'm dying or anything. You're like, yeah, but I'm good. Have y'all seen the thing? There's another recent thing that happened about the lab grown meat. So like now in California, they made a lab that takes the cells out of like an animal, and they make the meat out of the cells. Like they incubate it and stuff like that. So now they're doing chicken first apparently, which gonna be real questionable. I don't know how I feel about that. Sounds pretty racially motivated if you ask me, huh? The chicken first, huh? But nah, all jokes aside though, it's pretty wild. We've come to like, this whole kind of like what science has gone like so far. Especially like in more of the recent years as well too. But I think one of my main questions is how are the vegans going to treat this? Because vegans are like the whole situation right now with like Pokemon. Like vegans are like Pokemon. Not to really come at her, but I'm just like y'all like the same. Saying something is like doo doo, but defending something that's also doo doo. So it's like, but past that point, because I know almost everybody's heard about that. I don't want to talk about that. That's kind of both sides stupid. But back to the lab grown meat though. That is crazy. And I don't know how vegans are going to end up taking it. Like, I don't know if they're going to support it or not. Like, I want to know if they are going to support it. Because in actuality, the whole thing for vegans is about, not killing the animals. But if we're just, using the animals to get some of their cells and not actually killing them, and we're just, producing meat like that, then, I mean, that would, they can't be mad at that, can they? I mean, we're still using the animals, but we're not killing them. Because I think one of the main reasons for some vegans is like, they hate that animals are being killed or animals are being like tortured and killed apparently, which I don't know if they're being tortured or if they're just killing them and chopping them up in a certain way. I don't know. I'm not a butcher, but if it's lab grown meat, then I don't think that they should have a problem. I think actually the lab grown meat for like their kind of meanings wise will make more sense for them to eat than that fake plant based meat that they be having, which you know is still as worse as killing like animals. Like they're still helping something killing animals because the farmers that grow all like these crops would need to end up killing the animals or like the insects and stuff like that so they can be able to have like a pretty good harvest. So either way animals are going to get killed. So it's kind of questionable of how vegans kind of have like their morals or whatever you want to say. It doesn't really kind of make sense, or especially like vegans that say like save the animals, but she's walking like a leather jacket or like you got leather pants on right now. Like what how it's not making sense. But I'm also scared of the fact that companies are now going to end up doing like lab meat and not telling people whether if it's lab meat or actual meat. Because companies are going to do that anyway, so it's just going to be more of along the fact of like, are you going to trust whether this is actually from a chicken that they killed or is it a chicken that they grew? Or so it's more along the lines of like what kind of side effects is going to end up happening. And if the meat is going to be real because it's still made out of the cells, right? It wouldn't be classified as like a fake meat, would it? It's like an actual real meat. I think I would just rather know if it's lab grown or if it's more along the lines of like you chopped off the chicken's head. So it's gonna be questionable. I think people are gonna end up saying like they only want to get like rotisserie chicken, so it can be like an actual chicken, or so they know that it's an actual chicken. Gotta always have something wild, all right? So this little wild question is more for like the little bit of people I have in chat. So, or anybody can like think about it. But what would be like the best place, or what would y'all say the best place to end up, masturbating? So like, for like guys, where's the best place that you would think you like spank your willy? Because some people have some like weird places. Like I think like some people would be like, yeah, I like to do it at my computer desk and stuff like that. They like the nut being on the keyboard or whatever. Like that's crazy to me. Other ones, you got the basic ones. The basic that makes sense is also the you got the bed. That's like the the most common places. Or like some people do it on like the toilet. I sometimes do it on the toilet, I would say. But I think like the best place to do it is actually in the shower. Off of the sheer fact that you already got lubrication there, and once you already bust it, it just goes straight down the drain. So you ain't gotta worry about any like having to clean up some like mess or anything like that. It just you use the lubrication, which the best one to use is probably like conditioner, because you don't want to use shampoo or regular soap because then it's going to get inside of you and it's going to burn. So you use conditioner, because conditioner for some reason works out pretty well. use that, and then after you're done, it just goes straight down the drain, dude. No type of cleanup, no nothing. And you're already in the shower too, so you're gonna be cleaning your body. That's like, and it's the best place to have it. So I've learned that out when I was like, when I was more of like in high school. Because I used to do it more like in the bed, but then I decided like one day I was like, man, how do it feel to do it like in the shower? Because I'm already wet and stuff, bro. Since that day, crazy, crazy. I was like mind blown after I figured that out. And ever since then, it's been best places. Now I will say there has been some weird ass places though that I just had to do it, and it just had to be done. Like I think like the weirdest place, I was in like Korea doing on like an op. So that porta john was crazy. I didn't want to do it, but I had to. Sometimes you just it just won't go away, and you just got to do it. And I have no regrets. All right, that porta john was a different experience for me. It felt like I was in the wild. Like after I got done, I needed to go hunt either like a tiger or something. Like it's crazy. It makes you feel different. Felt like a savage. Like y'all ever had that feeling to where you feel like a savage? That's how I felt after I spanked my willy in the porta john. So Tarzan, hey Tarzan, yeah, that's kind of how I was feeling. Yeah, close to like that, like Tarzan. Yeah, because Tarzan was like a light skin. Honestly, he grew those dreads out way too clean. He had some type of like some type of spice inside of him. But yeah, savage. I should have been like that. I should have had people calling me Tarzan for the rest of that day. Oh well, it was actually night because I was on duty too as well. So I was on like night duty while everybody was asleep. But that is actually really wild. But it is what it is, man. Sometimes you just gotta do it. So don't ever feel like like that's not the right place to do it, because it may just be the right place to do it. Now, only saying that if you're like alone in like a secluded area or anything like that. Like, don't take it as me saying that like it's okay to just do it around people. Like if you just sitting if you just sitting at the dinner table and you're just like, oh, I gotta do it right now. like nah, no, don't do that. Don't do that at all. So, hey, because that would not end well. That would not end well at all. But I think I'm just we gonna call that a wrap from there. I just wanted to end with something like crazy or wild. Just that shit's crazy. But I'm kind of mad that this doesn't record everything. It's not. I gotta do some ghetto ass shit to get this recording. So I will end up seeing y'all on the next time. Thank you again. Peace.